Stable chat today for Campbell's Comments Equestrian, catching up with Elle Moro from Hilltop Horsemanship. Hello, Elle.
Hello, Paul. Thanks for heading out today.
Doing something different. I'm trying to grow my equestrian page. You always put your hand up to do different things. I do stable chats with a group of harness racing people, and it's proudly brought to you by Kelly Partners, who I have the helmet on. Paul Dobson and Dylan Barry do a great job. And with anyone at the minute who's watching this, especially over the weekend, they might be still in lockdown in Melbourne, get in touch with kellypartners.com.au or the phone number that is on the screen right now as well. And Paul and Dylan will be only too happy to help you out with your business if it is in need, because COVID makes things very, very tricky. We in Central Victoria are lucky we are out of lockdown.
Very lucky and blessed.
Which makes a big difference. I've done a couple of things with you, and I must say one thing I like is you keep pushing me to do different ones. So stable chat, when I do these on the Campbell's Comments page, we go through and we highlight what people have and the likes, and probably their desires and going forward. This shed that we're sitting on right now, this stable complex that we're sitting on right now, and I've got a video there as well with all the yards, a new addition, and it's an exciting new phase for Hilltop Horsemanship. Yeah,
definitely. It's been something we've been working towards pretty actively for the last 12 months. It's probably taken us a little bit longer to build than we were hoping, but we're finally here. We've put a big focus on being able to increase our private client numbers and also offer something really safe for our horses. So everything we've done, we've tried to keep the horses' safety in mind, because we know when people send their horse away, especially some of our clients, you know, they're their children. They're used to seeing them every day. So being able to offer them a really safe facility for them to live and be exercised and worked in was our priority.
How many yards have we built?
So there's 7, but there will be 8. 7 yards, which are walk-in, walk-out loose boxes. They're about 12 metres long, I think, and they've got the shelter area. And then, of course, we've got an arena at the end, which isn't a full-size arena, but definitely big enough to work a horse and give some lessons in.
Yeah, and that's the key, is to be able to give lessons and the like in a safe environment.
Exactly.
There's 2 parts to this. It is away from your house, so you've actually got a separate working area as well, which sometimes I think, you know, we get caught up in the horse area and everyone says, oh, it'd be great to have the horses walk out the back door and feed the horses. People don't realise there's twos and fros with having that, and to be able to have the horses that little bit removed, still on the same property, is a plus, I think.
Yeah, definitely. When we decided where we were putting the shed, it was, you know, a bit of a debate where, but one of our considerations is to be a little bit separate from home so that we've got away from work time, and also we wanted really easy access to the state forest, which you got some footage of, where we do a lot of our riding for our horses. So we thought where we've chosen is the best of both worlds: easy access for clients straight down the driveway and easy access into the state forest for our breakers.
Shed's simple, 3-sided shed. It's got, what you say, 9 yards. It'll have
8 yards.
It's got 8 yards coming off it. That gives them protection from the wind, protection from the rain, but also here in Central Victoria, one of the key things you've got to be aware of is protection from the sun in summertime.
Definitely. Since being here, I think we always knew it was hot, obviously, but living here and having horses in work, you soon realise that summer's probably where we need to give our focus on how we can protect our horses from the elements. So being able to offer them shade 24/7 is really beneficial, I think.
I'm very much a summer baby. I hate this weather right at the minute, and a day like today.
See, I'm the opposite. I love winter.
No, you got a beautiful dam down there at all sides. We'll get onto that in a second. Hilltop Horsemanship, I've done a couple of things, as I said, with you. You've done some stuff with me with the harness racing, but we did a 3-part series, basic horsemanship and handling. What is the aim going forward? Like, you're having a little bit of a change of direction. What is your main aim with Hilltop Horsemanship and your clients?
Our main aim is to try to get into a variety of markets with a real focus, a consistent focus of building confidence and control for the handler, horse and rider. So when I say different markets, you know, I do have my C-grade trainer's license, so with a focus on pre-training, mainly pre-training with a difference, I suppose. We've got really good access to hills, so being able to help horses build top line and just slightly different to the general pre-training. And I suppose because we do it in lower numbers, we can spend that little bit extra time doing your hand walking and your hill work and all that kind of thing. But a real main focus on riders having horses educated here under saddle, but not just the horse leaving educated, but the person leaving upskilled as well. I think there are a lot of wonderful breakers out there and horse educators, but we try to put a real big focus on the horse leaves here educated, but I want the person leaving here upskilled as well.
One of the things I know going around, and I had this conversation just recently with a galloping trainer, is a serious glut. They're big on track riders. There is a serious glut for people coming through, educating and taking that first step with horses in any area. And there's people out there that do it, but there's no one out there that actually is encouraging people to do it and help train people and push people to do it.
Yep. So one of our things is we like to have owners visit. I've got a horse going home tomorrow and the owner's been able to come out for 3 lessons, 2 pre-lockdown and 1 will be tomorrow post-lockdown. So it's going to be really wonderful that her off-the-track standee will go home, you know, with a lot more buttons than what he originally had, but she's going to go home with skills and confidence to be able to continue and hopefully get out and about and achieve what her goal is. And look, we've all got different goals for our horses. Some people want to compete in the dressage ring, some people want to trail ride. So I just want people to leave here with the confidence and skills that they can achieve their dream no matter what it is.
That's, I think, where Campbell's comments full stop, but also the question page fits in very well with you, because that's one of my mantras is I have this huge worry about kids get to 16, 17, school gets too much and they walk away from the sport, they walk away from their horses and they stop following their dream. We need to be able to capture those. But there's also a lot of kids that want to be able to partake in the industry, whichever industry that is, don't know how to start, don't know where to get, and sometimes places like this where they can learn 2 or 3 different disciplines too is key, and that's one of the things I'm trying to do, raise awareness. There's going to be a lot more of these coming onto my equestrian page. I've already got one lined up next week, just showcasing what people have, but also why people do what they do and why we all come back to them. That's the funniest part about horses. We all end up coming back. Everyone leaves for a little while, but you come back.
Exactly, and a lot of my clientele are people that have, often left to have families or career changes and that, but they all come back looking for that horse where they can, chase their dream. And as I said, the dreams vary, but the love of the horse and wanting to have that horse back in their life eventually catches up with everybody. I just rehomed a horse as a companion to a lady who was about 76 years of age, and she's actually been away from horses for 55 years. And her, she retired off a dairy farm and brought a smaller property, and she's finally come back to having a companion horse. So you eventually get back to them. It takes a little bit longer, but you do get back to them.
Michelle Moro, you and I did a couple of interviews with Michelle, and she's just a brilliant story. She's on the equestrian page. Go and have a look. But the same thing, she took them up pretty much, what was she, 45?
Yeah, got back into breeding. And actually she's sending a horse here in the next couple of weeks, one of her warm bloods, because I suppose as far as our education under saddle and the starting of horses, we do take a bit of a different approach to some. We're really big on exposure and confidence for the horse. So we want your horse going home with the buttons, you stop, you turn, you move off the leg, etc. But we put a big focus on, we want to expose them to as much as possible so that when they do go out in the show world or the dressage world or the trail riding world, whatever it is, that they're confident and relaxed. So I suppose we've identified that there is a little bit of a gap for that in, say, the warm blood market or the show horse market. So Michelle's actually sending one of her young warm bloods here, and with a real big focus on exposure. So getting him hacking out and over obstacles and through the dam and all those kind of things so that he becomes confident in it himself as a ridden horse, not just in a dressage arena. One
of the things you do offer is diversity, and you've got obstacles, I suppose, just out the other side there. You've got your trails up through the bush. Having once upon a time been lived closer, there's nothing better than bush work. And one of the things is you can overwork a horse through the bush sometimes and get away with it, because you can be on for 2 hours, the horse comes back happy, you come back happy, don't you?
100%. When we looked at purchasing a property, big bucket item was to have access to bush riding. I think that it just adds valuable mileage to our horses, but mentally they just benefit from it. And our access allows us to get them up to the road where they can see traffic. There's a farming property that's got cows, endless kangaroos, and a cyclist goes through the bush. So it's just invaluable exposure that we have access to at our back gate.
Absolutely. And anyone that follows your page will know that you're not scared to swim a horse and all the rest. And I saw this little puddle where I parked my car. I always thought that was a big dam when I've seen it on the picture, but you've got a beautiful big dam just out the back, and it lends itself to the horses because it's just a gentle amble in and the likes. But that's, again, something people can take away and take back, and be able to confidently know that their cross-country, their eventing horse is going to go into water, or their pleasure horse that they might want to go through and just have their ankles dragging in the water while the horse is walking in, are going to be able to have that skill set as well.
Exactly, and I think even as racing people, we all know the horse that won't walk through the puddle. So yeah, water exposure is a really big focus here, and horses come to love it, especially like we were talking about the summer elements. You know, it is nice that if they're the last couple of horses for the day and it's getting a little bit hot to maybe head out into the bush for a couple of hours, you know, getting them out in the dam where they can swim and lunge, and they're still using in really good skills, but it's just further exposure and something different.
Absolutely, Marie. That was directed at you and Pocket. Elle's done a little bit with us. Elle, one of the easy part for me was to come out and do this. You asked if I'd come and do it, and it was very easy because I like what you do. I quite regularly have called on you. We did a promotion for Bort just recently, and the likes. You like doing different. It opens your eyes to different skill sets, and it's something that frustrates me a little bit with horse people, and I'm going to say the equestrian side of things, but also the standardbred sides. I think you get caught up in your own world and you don't realise what else there is out there with horses. And you don't have to take it as your number one chosen discipline, but to learn all these other disciplines I think is key, and it's a great way everyone could grow the horse industry a lot better.
100%. Look, I think one of the big things I remind myself of regularly is there's enough room in the horse world, whether that's racing or equestrian or anything, for everybody. And we just need to support each other to take up that space instead of fighting each other for it. And I've learnt some really valuable lessons off some people in the equestrian world where I just wouldn't even think that I would learn something from them. And, you know, I have regular contact with, you know, people from the show world and the dressage world, where we can bounce ideas off each other, and I'm learning off them, and I hope that they're learning off me. And that stems through, I suppose, we've been really fortunate to be able to partner up with Harmony. So Chelsea from Harmony, which is a horse supplement, sponsors our team of horses when they're in work, which is exciting. Even to be able to call upon her for, you know, guidance and information on nutrition, you know, it's just a phone call away. And she's not the only one that was willing to offer that advice. I know I ring you sometimes and bounce off some media very bizarre requests, but I think as an industry, that's what we need to do for each other.
I actually forgot about our last one. I'm still not committing one way or the other to that. I forgot all about that until you just said that. You say that, I rang you, I needed a camera person,
Yep.
and you came. To go to yearling sales and Nutrient, another one of my great sponsors and the likes, to see a different side of things, it's how you actually grow your horse knowledge, isn't it? Like, I mean, anyone says, oh, go to a harness racing sale, they probably sit in the auditorium and think it's boring. But to get out there and watch these people with their horses, how they love them, how they present them, it's key, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was really wonderful. And I think I've always loved working with young horses and yearlings, and we've always handled our own. Mum and Dad breed a few. Pop's always had them. But when I went to the sales to help you out, it really brought me to life about how much we can help these young horses. And like, some of those people just put hours and hours, and how they present them and get them to behave in really pretty out there. You know, when you look at the setting that they're being paraded indoors in front of people, it's extraordinary. So definitely, I just think that you need to listen and talk to and go to as many things as possible, because you just don't know where your skill set's going to fit in, but also, you know, where I can help people, but where people can teach me things.
Random question, and this wasn't organised. So yearling preps, could that be something after being there? Was that something that, or maybe not yearling preps, but potentially helping people just get horses if they have a yearling that's a bit tricky, that sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely. One of the things we're really hoping to, you know, continue to push for, and as I said, now that we've got better, you know, in all honesty, better and safer facilities for young horses, we'd love to get into handling young horses, whether that's weanlings or yearlings. And we've had a few people, you know, yourself, invite me out to help work with younger horses and teach them some real basic skills that set them up for a good life. So yeah, that's definitely something we hope we can get involved in. And very similar approach building confidence and exposure for young horses, we truly believe just sets them up for success.
Anyone that wants to know, Elle came out and it's terrific what she done with the 3 horses. I think it was more terrific, if that's the right way of saying it. It fits on my page, so it doesn't matter. Holly and her change and her ownership afterwards too. Like a couple of them didn't do exactly what she wanted to, but Janique, she's been able to walk Janique around with a tarp, and people might say, "Oh, so what?" It may be so what, but it's actually, as far as Holly's concerned, it's an achievement for her. So when a person can achieve something in an industry, something a little bit different, something her dad can't do as well,
yep.
It then gives them that little bit of ownership. And I think these are the things we need to be able to do.
Exactly. And look, handling weanling and yearlings, as you know, there's hundreds of ways to do it. And my way, I suppose, could be a little bit out there for some people. But I think, if anything, it brought Holly's attention, and she's one of many that handling young horses doesn't have to be mundane.
No, and it's fun and it's rewarding. And I reckon she walks 6 foot taller. People want to get in touch with you. How do they do it?
Best to jump on social medias. So if we're Facebook, we're Hilltop Horsemanship. We're also on Instagram and Twitter. We're easily accessed on my phone number, which we can put down the bottom if that's easier. More than welcome to text or call. I will admit I can be a little bit slack with answering the phone. It's a bit of a, there's a small team here, but I will get back to you definitely.
Well, the way I work too, just send a text.
Yeah,
because
perfect.
There's no timeline on a text, so send the text and you'll eventually get back.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to send a couple of texts. I don't get offended if you give me a "Oi, I sent one before and I didn't hear back from you."
Al, really appreciate your time. Thank you very much to Kelly Partners, as I said, Paul Dobson and Dylan Barry. kellypartners.com.au for all your accountant needs, but especially if you're in Melbourne watching this over the weekend because you're still in lockdown, get in touch with the guys if your business is worried and you're worried about where your business is heading, because at the minute there is no financial change for them. And also the guys at Barristock, Andrew Soper and everyone else, their commitment to Campbell's Commons equestrian page especially. I'm not able to do these sort of things and get them out there, so I love it. I like bringing them. Thank you very much. You've started something. There's going to be quite a few stable chats coming onto the equestrian page. They'll be different, but I really like it. And please get in touch with Elle for anything you'd like going forward, even driving a camera. She's pretty good. Thank you.
See ya.